$400 million have been spent on migrants in Chicago in just 2 years. And the question is, where'd the money go? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a lawsuit that seeks to discover just where 400 million U.S. American cold hard cash dollars have gone in Chicago, Illinois in the past 2 years as it relates to the migrant crisis. Now, we all know what's happening in this country with the migrants. They're everywhere. They're pretty much ubiquitous in society, all over the place. You can't escape them. They're causing all kinds of problems. They're invading communities, invading homes. Just, it's a mess. You know, I've spoken to teachers and they're like, look, don't nobody speak no English. You got all kind of languages. It ain't just Espanol. It ain't just broken English. You're talking about Mandarin Chinese, random, nondescript, just off-brand languages that nobody speaks anymore. Okay, you got all of that happening inside the school system. There's not enough money given to the teachers. There's not enough given to anybody, but somehow $400 million is being spent. Now, the question is, again, where is the money going? Is it going to people that need it? Is it going to the community, to the city, to people that have been there for a long time that actually need help? How about veterans? Where is it going? I think we all know where the money's going. And since we know where the money's going, that's probably part of the reason why the migrant crisis is persisting. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the actual clip here. If you want to see everything I'm talking about right here, link will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Now to NBC5 investigates, which for months has followed the money trail tied to Chicago's migrant mission. Total spending now tops more than $400 million.
Now, despite the creation of a city spending website, it's still not exactly clear where all of that money has gone. In this follow-up report, investigative reporter Bennett Haberly uncovers some new information not shared by the city.
Consider these numbers. More than 6,000 people still live in city-run migrant shelters. That means costs are still adding up.
Remember, they were building some kind of new shelter, temporary shelter for the migrants. They were building that, but then there were tents already on the street with people that had been there for a long time. Veterans and whatnot, actual citizens of the USA, Chicago residents. It's like, okay, where's their temporary shelter? Where's their place? It's not really important, huh? We see who the priority is in this particular town.
August of 2022, the city of Chicago has spent more than $400 million, according to the city's spending website. Nearly $253 million went to one private company, Kansas-based Favored Healthcare Staffing, which
Wait. Do you see this? So they spent $400 million, right, in 2 years on the migrant crisis in Chicago, Illinois. 63.2% of the $400 million went to one company. Now, before we get into just how much money was given to this particular company and how they spent it and why they got so much, and maybe a little bit of allegation to kickback, a word from our sponsor. Online data brokers sell your information to scammers, hackers, and anyone who wants to use that information against you. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, even your relatives' information is all out there for sale. I mean, look at what they found about me. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information, and they automatically submit out requests on my behalf. Cleaning up my personal information not only helps me reduce spam, but it protects me from hackers who may want to access my bank accounts, social media, or even invade the inside of my home. I learned this the hard way back when I got swatted. It's 2019, I'm streaming as normal, and before I know it, I have not one, not two, but 6 cops at my back door, guns drawn. They tell us come outside, get on the ground, they go through the house, and they come back apologetic. Sorry, Mr. Logan, we got an anonymous tip that somebody was in your house tied up and bleeding, and we had to come investigate. Now, coming to find out, this was a dangerous prank called swatting, and the person who did it most likely got my address from an online data broker. You may be thinking, hey, ABL, why would I need Aura? I'm not a streamer. I'm not a YouTuber. How could that service protect me? Well, AT&T just revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released to the dark web. Now, AT&T recommends you use stronger passwords, monitor your account activity manually, or consider a credit freeze or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Aura does all of that for me. And the best part is I don't need a bunch of different apps, all because one company could not keep my data secure. If your data was in the AT&T breach, simply activate Aura and eliminate your worry, because Aura is always on in the background, keeping you safe. I value my privacy and I value yours. Visit aura.com/Anthony Logan through the link in the description to start your free 2-week trial today. And we're back. Let's get into this. Why did this one company get so much of the $400 million?
Staffs the shelters. Another $76 million went to Equitable Social Solutions. That company partnered with another called ReloShare, which helped identify and sign lease agreements with property owners of the buildings that eventually became the migrant shelters.
That's where a number of those leases are.
But when we asked the city months ago for copies of these lease agreements, we were given just 9 out of 27.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty curious. Why were they not able to provide all the lease agreements? If you have a third-party company that's able to procure lease agreements with these places, then that company should be able to provide the leases. I don't really understand. Like, you have a company that does this. It ain't like you just going out there and saying, hey, do you want to take some migrants? Nah, you have a company that's doing it. They should have their records in order. So when they are requested to provide the information, it's not really a big deal. They have it.
Use of these private companies has helped mask from public view where the public dollars have flowed. What we didn't know until now is how much the property owners of the migrant shelters were earning. But thanks to a new lawsuit, we're being provided some more clarity. A lending company filed this lawsuit last month against 2 Chicago developers, alleging they did not make it clear when they signed a loan agreement that the building in the West Loop would be used to house migrants. What is not in dispute is that the owners of the Ogden shelter are paid $150,000 a month by ReloShare as part of a use agreement.
Now, out of that $150,000, how many migrants are being housed? That's my question. Like, where is that money going? And I guess this is going to be an ongoing expense. So we said there's been $400 million spent in the past 2 years, but that total is going to keep on going and going and going. As the migrants keep flowing in and they keep staying in these shelters, they keep eating food, drinking water, etc., you're going to have this cost continue to balloon.
That means in a year's time, they'd receive more than $1.8 million. The lease agreement also calls for additional payments of up to $400,000 if the number of migrants inside the Ogden shelter exceeds 650. The latest figures show more than 700 people still live here. If there are public dollars involved, shouldn't the public know where they flow?
100%.
Back in March, Alderman Andre Vasquez, the chair of the City Council's Migrant Committee, told us aldermen themselves have had a hard time accounting for all the spending.
That's still the...
Let's pause for a minute. Let's go back. They said if the total number of migrants in the shelter exceeds 650, then it's going to be another $250,000 charge. Did I hear that right? And then they said right after that that there's more than 700 migrants in the shelter. Well, I mean, that's kind of an easy solution to not pay the $250,000, right? Just drop 50 of the migrants or have them go somewhere else. That seems like a no-brainer, but maybe I'm just not thinking right. I don't know. Let's keep on going.
The question that's
when we attempted to ask Mayor Brandon Johnson about this at the time, he said this.
Again, we're meeting you right where you are.
Were it not for this new lawsuit, the public would have no idea how much these property owners are earning.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
We pressed the mayor about this last week and asked if he would consider adding the information to the city's website. He said this.
We have given an accurate account of how dollars have been spent.
That's it?
Is there anything that would preclude your administration from sharing that level of detail?
There's no information that has been kept from you.
Johnson then reiterated talking points he's made before, how he's renegotiated contracts to save taxpayer money, and how Congress has failed to provide additional financial relief. He also doubled down, incorrectly stating that all spending information is available.
That information is available to you, sir.
Not all of it, though, is, sir. I mean, that's
Can you
the point.
give me a specific example of what's not available?
The Ogden shelter in the West Loop, that's what is spelled out in this lawsuit, that they get $150,000 just for being the property owner per month. Nowhere is that available on the city's spending website. My question, again, is simply, is there anything that would preclude you from including that level of detail? You guys have said you're transparent. Why not show it?
Very good question.
The information related to the spending to this mission is available.
But it's not on the website. See, he's just not answering questions. I don't know what's going on with this guy. But again, this is the same guy, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. What he spend like 30 grand in a year on haircuts and shoes or something? Like what, hair and makeup? It's like, who are you, Diana Ross? Like, what's going on? But anyway.
That's where we left it. We have checked over and over again to see if additional information was added to the city's website. If it is, we'll let you know. Bennett Haberly, NBC5 Invest.
So that's what's going on. Shout out to NBC5 out there in Chicago. Yeah, $400 million on the migrants. And the question I would have to the residents of Chicago as I close, wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Has that $400 million expenditure of your money helped you at all? Has it improved quality of life in the city? If anything, I would presume that the migrants being present, that the status of Chicago and of the state of Illinois is a sanctuary, I would presume that it's made life more difficult, not easier at all. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? $400 million in just 2 years spent on migrants in Chicago and counting. And then the city says, hey, we're going to be transparent. We'll let you know what's happening with the expenditures, but they're not really doing it. There's all kind of big chunks of money being given to small companies. And then my question would be, why just these companies? Why did they get the lion's share of the revenue? How did this contract happen? Do we have a connection to somebody in the administration, like the mayor? I don't know. How did this whole thing come about? There's so much corruption. There's so much graft in the United States on a federal level, especially. That's where it's the worst. But even on the state level, like a Chicago, like a Oakland, California, like Dalton, Illinois, like other parts of this country, unfortunately. And when they get caught, as I close for real, when they get caught engaging in graft and corruption and theft, they should go up under the penitentiary to make big rocks to little rocks. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.